your roof. It's the most important protection against nature for your home or your business. That's why I trust the experts at Exterior Home Solutions.
Ramey from the Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena, Grant. Tennessee 82-61 over Wofford tonight. Not a dominant performance, but I'm gonna get your thoughts first. I'm gonna tell you my biggest takeaway. But I thought there were some things to like.
Impressive that they started as slow as they did, and it was kind of a just whatever first half, and to take care of business the way they did in the second half. Wofford hit some shots, some crazy shots, some well-defended shots, and beat Tennessee up on the boards early on, which I wasn't expecting, offensive boards especially. So for Tennessee to kind of come out, kind of whatever, and turn it on a little bit in the second half and still put up 80-something points and cruise, I thought was impressive.
And my biggest takeaway, Grant, was that, Wofford, they weren't great on offense. They shot 38%, which, we've seen Tennessee take teams at that level, and it's hard for them to shoot 20%.
Right.
So my point being, I think I could have seen this game last year being won in the last 10 minutes.
Right.
Tennessee's ahead 7, 8, 9. They're going to win, but there's going to be some drama. I think we've all talked about how the offensive firepower, the ceiling for this team is higher. It just occurred to me tonight that the offensive floor is also higher. So I think nights when they're not great, they can still score 75, 80 points. Where last year's team did not have that ability.
It was single digits basically the entire first half, the deficit for Wofford, and they hit a 3 to start the second half to get back within 2, and Tennessee goes on a 9-0 run, 10-0 run to get it to 12, biggest lead of the game, and it never got really close after that. It was at arm's length from there, and I think Dalton Connect had 4 points in the first half, had a couple fouls. He scores, 10 in the second half? No more than that. What did he end
14.
up? 17, whatever it
18.
is. Just the efficient way he scores it. He doesn't need many shots to score it. Jordan Gainey keeps coming off the bench and being that sixth man that's aggressive on the offensive end. Tobey looked really good in the second half, points and rebounding.
And 5 of 7 at the line.
And
Newsflash.
5 of 7 at the line. Santi looked a little bit more like Santi tonight than we've seen over the first week. So a little bit of everything from everybody. It felt like positive steps forward in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. This, again, this is not the game where you're going to, make any big, huge proclamations about this team. But if they'd have played terrible, fans would have made some hard conclusions, and they didn't. They kind of, it was just kind of a ho hum, 21-point win against a team which, I think you got a little tape on Tennessee now, and I thought you could tell that the way they guarded Dalton in the first half. I think maybe, I'm sure Wisconsin, he didn't sneak up on him, but I think, by now he's the focal point of your scout. I think, he's probably starting to see that.
And when that happens, I think you have to have Santi hitting those threes like he did last year and looking more like his old self. And Sakai's going to start hitting shots at some point. He hasn't hit them the first 3 games he's been back. He'll start looking like himself at some point. Teams are going to take away Dalton. It's going to open up a lot more for everybody else.
Tennessee's got plenty of guys for that to happen. We just talked about Gainey. He looks like instant offense. Off the bench, he has 14 tonight. It's 2 3-pointers, just boom, boom, when he checks into the first half. And man, that's a luxury when you can go to the bench and not only have a drop off, but have a guy that teams are like, you got to get a hand in this guy's face. And I don't know that Tennessee's. Have they had that since Lamonte? When you went to the bench and actually, they had some guys that could come in. Jemai could come in and do some things, but Lamonte could come in and start throwing daggers immediately. And I don't know that they've had that.
Seeking his shot aggressively, which is what.
Not just waiting to get open or something.
Which is what Gainey. I didn't know what to make of Gainey when he came here, but he's looked the part for every time we've seen him.
He's more than just a shooter.
Right, and he's aggressive and he's confident and he's that spark off the bench. What they've got from him through 3 games as that sixth man. He's got to be one of the better 6 men in the league based on how aggressive and how consistent he's been so far. It's only been 3 games, but he's off to a really good start.
I have to agree. And we're going to find out a lot about this team next week. It's a loaded Maui field. Purdue, Gonzaga. It's just loaded. Probably it's going to be a better field than a regional final.
Right. And it starts Monday. Syracuse was down 24 tonight, came back and won at home against Colgate. Tennessee would probably be without Freddie DeLeon, you would expect. He's in a boot the second half tonight. Rick said he had some fasciitis issues, and they had an MRI scheduled for the morning. But if you get past Syracuse, regardless, you have Purdue or Gonzaga on day 2 of that tournament, and then Kansas Marquette on the other side.
That's a litmus test.
Right.
So we're going to find out a lot. But 3 games in, Grant, my 3 biggest takeaways. Everybody wanted to know about Zakai. He looks rusty, but it also doesn't look like the knee's a problem at all. The 2 newcomers, Gainey and Connect, instant offense, and just deeper. We all thought they were going to be deeper, and they are. We talked about this earlier, but Freddie DeLeon, he's, it's a 5-star freshman that
Right.
you're not going to have when you go to Maui, and
Right.
it's not a big deal at all.
Because he wasn't getting that many minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, he had played 3 minutes at Wisconsin Friday night, didn't play at all in the second half yet. Gaining connect, it's been 3 games. It's all it is, small sample size, but they've looked the part. And yeah, the depth is there, the scoring seems to be there, the skill seems to be there. There's just not a bunch of drop-offs. And if it continues that way, it should be a really good basketball team.
Tennessee's getting a ton of hype around the nation, and we're getting ready to find out just
What could go wrong?
how accurate that is. He's Grant Ramey. I'm Rob Lewis. This has been the Fast Break from Volquest.com and Exterior Home Solutions.